Thanks, Sam. Hello, and welcome everyone to our webinar today. My name is Edgar Arismendi. I'm Senior Technical Support Analyst in BMC Software, and today I'm going to talk about common issues in digital workplace. In today's webinar agenda, we will be covering some common issues and solutions in digital workplace, such as import-export services, virtual marketplace, service searches. For each topic, I will demo the issue and I will show you how to apply a fix or a workaround. Resolving timeout when importing and exporting services. Symptom is importing and exporting a catalog service takes close to 20 seconds and you get an error 504 gateway timeout. When you try to import a DWPC service from one environment to another, you may have an error, fail to import service from file. And in web developer tools, we can see 504 gateway timeout error. Cause is, this happens when a service has a large number of revisions, over 2000. This behavior has been identified in version 2002 and 2008. This issue has been classified as a defect. The permanent fix is in version 21.3.01. There is a workaround that consists in deleting some revision entries in Innovation Studio. Also, we can perform the same activity at database level. Let's proceed to show you in a demo the issue. I will use Digital Workplace Catalog 2008. Now I'm logged with HANA admin. Let's suppose that we have already exported a DWPC service from another environment and we want to import it here in this environment. So before that, let's enable Web Developer Tools. Let's reload. And let's import from File. Select Service. Let's confirm. There you go. We have hit the error fail to import service from file. And also we can see here the post with the status 504 gateway timeout. So this fits in our defect. And now, in order to fix this, we need to clean the revision from the source. So for that, let's proceed to clean all the revision from the source. Now I'm logged with HANA admin in the environment. So we need to delete all the revision for the service that caused the failure. So for that, we can see here in the revision history. This is the service that has a lot of revision. So we need to delete all the states except the published one. So we need to delete the draft, pending approval, approved, and rejected. Okay, we can select from here some entries and apply delete. So I also we can perform that activity in Innovation Studio as well. For that, I have previously filtered by name and also by state. So now I have selected this amount of revisions and let's proceed to delete them. I have selected all the possible states except the published one. So now we just need to wait. Okay, so all the entries were deleted except this one, which is the published. So now we can proceed to export this service. So let's go back to my services. Let's hit refresh. Now let's export this as service. Okay, the service was exported successfully. So now let's go to our dev environment and let's proceed to import from file. Let's wait until it's finished. A service has been successfully imported. So this time it works as expected, and this is one workaround. Other workaround it's even more easy. We need to run this query to delete all the states except the publish one. So I'm going to share the link in the reference slide. Just here make sure to query to have the correct view, right? For instance, this is the view that we need to delete all those entries. Okay, so just substitute here the view, the correct view, and that's it. So now let's go back to our slide. Resolving cannot see services in digital workplace. Symptoms are cannot see any digital workplace catalog services published in digital workplace. For instance, a lot of users report that they cannot see some services in digital workplace. Based on user comments, we can identify that the majority of the services reported are DWPC services. SRM services are visible and working fine. Cause is incorrect configuration for Engage catalog section. One possible reason is that an administrator had reset her admin password, so digital workplace catalog integration is broken. Fix is correct configuration for Engage catalog section. Next symptom. Cannot see some services published in digital workplace that I used to see. Cause is the login ID of the user affected was changed from lowercase to uppercase or vice versa. Fix is we need to run some SQL statements in some tables at database level to update affected customer entries. Next symptom. New users cannot see any digital workplace catalog services in digital workplace. Cause is users are not present in digital workplace catalog database. Fix is we need to wait till sync job runs or we can execute it manually through BMC Developer Studio. Now let's proceed to demo these issues in a lab. I will use DWP version 2008. Now let's reproduce the first symptom, which is cannot see any digital workplace catalog services published in digital workplace. As we can see here, there are two digital workplace catalog services published. And now let's suppose that an administrator changed the password of HANA. Let's open people form from ITSM site to change HANA admin password. And that's it. After reset HANA admin password, could take some time to be reflected in digital workplace, that we cannot see any digital workplace catalog service. Okay, so let's roll back the changes. Let's use again the original password for HANA admin. So let's proceed to reset the password. And also in Enhanced Catalog section in the WP admin console, let's use also the original password. Save it. And that's it. For our second symptom, which is cannot see some services published in the workplace that I used to see, let's use the same user. For that, his login ID changed from lowercase to uppercase. So let's proceed to validate the user form in ITSM site. As we can see here, the login ID changed. So now, for this specific use case, we need to check at database level some tables just to validate the login ID. For that, let's log into Digital Workplace database and perform some queries in those tables. So in the slides we saw some tables that begin with DWP underscore. That is for version 21, and for this version that we are using is version 2008. So let's proceed to run this query. And let's search, for instance, this is the token. It has dummy token and it has the lowercase. Okay. So let's proceed to another result. The user ID is test BMC. Again, is in lowercase. Search for the last one. User login ID, test BMC underscore. So that indicates that it's not matching the user form versus Digital Workplace database. So for that, let's proceed to run some updates. So let's proceed to run this update statement, which is basically changing the login ID to uppercase. Okay, so let's try. We have 3 rows updated. So now let's again query the previous statement. So it's okay. Now it's in uppercase. Check the other table. Okay, it's in uppercase. And the last one. Okay, great. It's in uppercase too. So for that, now the user must log off and then clear the browser cache and test again. If after logout and clear browser cache you still don't see the DWPC services, there is one extra step that you can check. Go to DWPC and then try to add a user role. For instance, that the user that is facing the issue. I have searched for this login ID, and as we can see here, the login ID is in lowercase. So that means in the Digital Workplace Catalog database is not updated. So for that, let's proceed to update in Innovation Studio. This is for Helix customers. So for that, let's go to Administration, Manage People, and then filter by login ID. Okay, now let's edit the entry. Go to Access Details, hit Edit Login, and let's proceed to type in uppercase. Test BMC. And then just hit save. Save successfully. So let's try to refresh the page. We still cannot see the service. So we need to perform the same step. Sign out, clear browser cache, and test again. After performing the mentioned step, now we are able to see the services. So let's validate from DWPC. And now, as we can see here, the user login is now in uppercase as well. So that's it. Let's see the next symptom. For our third symptom, which is new user cannot see any digital workplace catalog services in the digital workplace, we have created this user, this Lily Benson, and as we can see here, there isn't any services published, right? So the first thing to check is go to the workplace catalog and try to add a user role searching for Lily Benson. So there is no results for that. It means that we need to wait till sync job runs, or we can execute it manually through BMC Developer Studio. Okay, in this case, let's execute it manually using Developer Studio. Okay, let's open Developer Studio and let's look for this escalation, and then let's select and hit Run Now. So let's wait until this finish. Please keep this in mind that this synchronization, this escalation, only is necessary for version 20 and below. For converged platforms, since version 21 and version 22, there is no need to sync people between ITSM and Helix platform or Innovation Studio. Okay, so let's wait. Now let's search again for that user. Let's add a user role. Let's search for the new user. And there you go. Okay, so with this it means that now the user exists in the workplace catalog database. So now it's supposed to be able to see this user, the DWPC services. Let's check it. Now I'm logged in with Lily Benson credentials in Digital Workplace, and I am able to see the Digital Workplace catalog services. Okay, so that's it for this issue. So now let's go back to our slides to continue. Resolving survey does not show under bell icon. Symptom is cannot see survey notification under bell icon of Digital Workplace. Causes are incorrect configuration for encased catalog section on Digital Workplace Administration Console. Fix is set proper configuration for encased catalog section. Most of the times user or password don't match versus user form. Next cause. There are more than one question in an SRM survey. Fix is create a survey with only one question in ITSM. Now, I will demo this issue in the Digital Workplace for first cause in version 20.1.2 and second cause in version 20.02. Now I'm logged with an end user, and let's proceed to submit a service request that generates a survey. So for that, let's mount the service and submit the service request. Let's select here Salesforce, and this request needs an approval for Charlie Chapman. Summary. The following, also in details. Let's submit the request. Okay, it's waiting for approval. Let's log in with the approver, which is Charlie Chapman. Let's refresh the page. So we can see here the request to approve. Let's approve it. Follow the process. The process automatically set the status to complete. if all the process is successful. So let's refresh the page. It is already in our past events. I have created one server request some minutes ago. So as we can see here, there is no notification for that. There is a setting that it has a notification folder. The default value is 5 minutes. I'm going to put some reference in the slide just to check where you can change that value. Also, we can look for the following error in DWP log. It says survey could not be retrieved from SV, which is service broker, and it says authentication failed. So for this specific error, we need to check the case catalog section in DWP admin console. So for that, let's log in to the admin console. Just for testing purpose, we can delete and then add it again. Later and save the changes, and we can see authentication failed. Okay. I think this password doesn't match with the one which is in user form. So for that, let's validate. Another thing that may cause this or make happen could be broke the integration between the Data Workplace catalog and the Data Workplace. But this is not the case because, as we can see here, with the end user, the services are available. In fact, if we open a service, in some scenarios, could be an error here. For instance, item not available. So this is not the case. So let's proceed to set the proper password for that user. Let's save it. Now it is success, the configuration. Also for version 21 and above, the domain information is not necessary. So it must be empty. Now let's submit a new request. With the same end user rows. Submit request. It's waiting for approval. Let's proceed to approve it. Let's hit approve. Okay, now the request is in approved status, and it triggers the workflow established for that service. So now it is completed. Okay, now we can see here one notification, and this is for the survey. Okay, so now the issue is fixed. Now let's proceed to demo our second cause. Now let's check the second cause. There are more than one question in SLM survey. So in this use case, we need to enable the survey in DWP for a SRD. So the first thing that we need to check is that the desired SRD needs to be related to a custom survey that contains only one question. So in this case, let's check this DWP survey, and it has only one question, so it's okay. The second thing that we need to check is in DWP admin console, service request section, service. We need to make sure to enable the service. A part of that, we need to select the SRD and make sure to have the corresponding custom survey that only has one question, right? So in most of the cases, just enable this option and customer think that is already enabled the survey on the WP for any survey. But you need to make sure to select the desired custom survey that only contains one question. So let's save it. And now I have already submit a service request for the SRD, and now it's completed. As we can see here in the bell notification, we can see the survey. Let's go back to our slides. Resolving searches not working. We have some symptoms that might have same fix. Symptoms are search not working properly when type a name of a service or a tag. Search does not retrieve any digital WordPress catalog service. Search does not retrieve some knowledge articles. Causes are more results than the configure max, enhanced catalog feature not working, reindex failure. Fixes are increase maximum results per source in DWP admin console, enable enhanced catalog feature in DWP admin console, correct enhanced catalog configuration in DWP admin console, perform a reindex in ITSM UI, perform an application service cache in Digital WordPress Catalog UI. I will show you in a demo using DWP version 21.3 all the symptoms and fixes. Now I'm logging in Digital WordPress version 21.3, and let's try to replicate the symptom search not working properly when type a name of a service or a tag in Digital WordPress. For instance, let's just type a service. And let's select, for instance, the request section. So for that, maybe we are looking for a service request that we cannot see here, right? It's because it is limited to 25, the results. So let's change that configuration in the WP admin console. Configuration section, search. For instance, let's increase to 35. So let's save it. Let's refresh the page with the same search. Okay. So we can see more results, right? So that could be a possible cause and fix. Okay. So let's see the second symptom, which is search does not retrieve any digital WordPress catalog service. Possible cause, enhanced catalog feature is not enabled. Fix enable enhanced catalog feature in DWP admin console. So for that, let's search for the word service, and
As we can see here, there isn't any developers catalog services. All those are SRDs, so something is broken. So let's check. First, let's check the case catalog configuration. Just delete and then add again a word, save it, and it's success. Okay, so it's okay, the configuration. Now let's proceed to check the application features. There is one feature which is in case catalog. It's disabled. So when it's disabled, this feature, we cannot see any digital workplace catalog service published in the digital workplace. So that's why we cannot see any services. For that, let's just enable. And this could take some minutes to be reflected in the digital workplace. So let's wait. Okay. And now we can see the digital workplace catalog services. So we corrected the issue. Now let's check our third symptom, which is search does not retrieve some knowledge articles. Okay, for that specific symptom, let's perform some action from ITSM side. So let's go to Knowledge Console, and then let's hit Manage Knowledge Sources. And for instance, if someone is reporting that cannot see some how-to templates for ArcIM, let's just hit Rebuild Index, and it's indexing, right? So this activity is not recommended to performing during business hours, okay? And also, this could take several minutes, inclusive hours, right? It depends on how many entries are in each form. So re-indexing. Also, we can re-index another ArcIM templates. That's it. Those are ready, and there is only one left, indexing. Another way that you can perform a reindex is here from our Air System Management Console. Let's go to FTS Management. And let's select the FTS pod or server. And here we can perform a whole reindex that includes all the ITSM and DWP and DWPC forms. Or maybe if we can just reindex a specific form, we can select the form name option and then select the specific form. For instance, for DWPC services, we got some forms there, which are this one, service search cache, service request, and service order. For instance, we can perform a reindex for this form. Let's just hit reindex. Have this number of entries there are pending. So that's another way. Also, for instance, if their customers are reporting that maybe some change requests cannot see in DWP, also you can perform the reindex for that specific form. And that's it regarding the reindex. Another way to perform a reindex, where it is this, and also through the Place Catalog UI. We have here in the configuration an option that says application cache, that basically refresh the cache for that form that we have already performed a reindex. Okay, now the reindex is completed. As we can see here, also there are the RKM forms that we just reindex as well. And the other option that said reset service cache is recommended not to perform during business hours. So now let's reset cache again. And that's it. So those activities could help in order to resolve some symptoms, for instance, that you cannot see some services, some changes, some knowledge articles. Okay, so that's it. Let's go back to our slides. Here you can find some reference that I use in this webinar. You can find more details that all the topics that I have covered. Here's a summary of the topics that we have covered today. That's all that I have for you today. Thank you very much for your patience and your time. Feedback is always welcome. I hope you learned something in this webinar, and see you in the next one.